Hello. So something happened today with Manchester City. The Premier League has accused them of breaking its financial rules following a 4-year investigation. But to delve into this and find out a bit more, we're going to talk to senior football news reporter Matt Slater of The Athletic. Hello, Matt.
Hello, JJ.
Thank you for helping me make sense of all of this. Could you please tell me, what have Manchester City been accused of and why is it important?
Well, they've been charged, I think I make it 105 different charges, but there are four main groups. The first all relate to Manchester City's accounts effectively being wrong for a sort of 9-season period from about 2009, I think, to 2017, 18. And that's because the Premier League is querying these sponsorships and saying they're not legitimate, they're not fair value. And that actually comes to about, because it's so many years and it's so many different breaches of the handbook, that comes to about 50 charges there. But they're all much of a muchness. They all go back to that, were the sponsorships legitimate, were costs hidden? And then the second set of charges really are very specific around those years when Roberto Mancini's pay was allegedly topped up by a side contract with a club in the UAE called Al Jazeera. He had a sort of consultancy fee from them for about 4 days a year work. And then the next set of charges are, I suppose, quite technical. They're around Manchester City complying with the license requirements to play in Europe. And that's something that the Premier League would have overseen. Yes, Manchester City have sort of ticked all these various boxes. Their accounts are all completely fine and legitimate. They've been fair and honest and straightforward with us. Yes, they can play in UEFA. So there's a sort of body of charges around that. And then the final ones take us all the way up to the current season. And it's really around cooperating with their investigation. So you actually have, as I say, over 100 charges that go right back to 2009 to now, with the last set of charges being you have not cooperated for the last 4 or 5 years with our investigation. In fact, you've obstructed us every step of the way.
And am I right in thinking that Manchester City have denied all these accusations so far?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. As they did with UEFA, and they've delivered another short and sweet but quite terse statement to say, there's nothing to see here, and we can't wait for our day in court when we're going to blow all this out of the water.
That sounds very exciting.
I'm paraphrasing.
So, what then would the punishments be? What could potentially City be looking at here?
Well, this is where we are going to go a little bit off-piste because it's not specified in the Premier League handbook. We are sort of in uncharted territory here, and the handbook hands over an enormous amount of power to this panel, this 3-person panel that will hear this disciplinary matter, and there is no chart of, if you do a little bit of this you get that, and if you do a bit more of that you can expect this. We can look. Man City are going to contest this. They're going to contest this incredibly hard. If this goes badly for them, we could be looking at a series of points deductions. We could be looking at financial penalties. We could be looking at a relegation. The panel has enormous power here, and it really will be up to what can be proven and how serious they think these charges are. But there are so many of them, and they go back so far. And it's not just any club. It's Manchester City, who've won the Premier League 6 times, and among other, bits of silverware. So yeah, this is pretty serious.
But will anything actually really happen with this? Like, will this make a difference? And why the timing now? What's happening now to make it relevant now?
Well, I mean, the timing now is really interesting. So I think there's a few things to say there. One, none of this came out till the hacked emails in late 2018, and we saw how long it took UEFA to get to court arbitration sport, and we also got a little glimpse of this process about 2 years ago. I think it was July 2021, where 2.5 years into the Premier League's investigation, some of the rulings were published. It's all been going on in secret and in arbitration rooms. That Man City had been refusing to hand over documents, had been moaning about the Premier League's disciplinary process, had just basically obstructed every step of the way, and had fought and lost a series of small battles along the way. And that's really before we really got into the body of it, before we got into the what have you done? Where's the evidence? What are we going to charge you with? So this is just been trench warfare, and will continue to be trench warfare. That's why it's taking so long. Now, why now? Well, I think some of it is just because this is how long it's taken. But Man City certainly believe, though they wouldn't say this publicly, but I'm led to believe they believe this. Some of this is to do with the fan-led review, this white paper we're expecting from government imminently about increased regulation for football, namely an independent regulator for football. And this is football saying we can regulate ourselves. We don't need a helping hand. Look at us. We can apply our own rule book. So I think there's a few things going on here.
Almost like a statement of intent to show that they have authority. And City could be the ones who come off badly from that? I don't know. Okay, so we know roughly what they've been accused of. We know then that there are potential repercussions with no limit on points or finances because there is no limit within the rulebook. And we know roughly what the motivation might be. Does it mean, last question, that if they were to have titles stripped from them and relegated, would that mean that certain other clubs might be celebrating league titles from years past? Would Man United have won 2 more titles?
Well, look, we shall see. And I think Man United fans, if they're expecting this to happen anytime soon, should just calm down. This is not going to happen anytime soon. And I think, they should just calm down anyway, because there is going to be the most almighty fight about this. But look, in theory, yes. And I suppose an analogy, although I can imagine lawyers already getting annoyed with me here for being too simplistic about this, would be things like doping and gold medals being reallocated, or Tour de France is being decided years afterwards. Yes, in theory, this is cheating that took place a long time ago, and retrospective punishments could be the reallocating of titles. I suppose we saw this in Italy, didn't we? With Juventus. So, yep, it could go that way.
Well, we'll soon find out. Thanks for explaining it all for us, Matt.
All right, no worries at all.
Cheers.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.